Welcome to It's Chaim, Tree of Life. We're studying Yesod, and we talked last week that Yesod is the power to procreate. Okay? So, Yesod is the power to procreate. So, the Sefirot. So it looks like this, and we began here with Malchut, which means kingdom, and we are here now in Yesod, which means foundation. Over here you have Netzach. Here you have Hod. The middle one here is Tiferet. This is Chesed, and this is Gevorah. So Malchut means kingdom. Yesod means foundation. Netzach means victory. Hod means majesty. Tiferet means beauty. Chesed means kindness. Gevorah means strength. The idea, notice here that they're all connected together. You start in kingdom, everyone is in kingdom. What is the kingdom? Malchut HaShamayim, Malchut HaElohim, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God. And what is the kingdom? The universe. All of creation is the kingdom. Who is the king? God. Okay? So, everything, all of creation is the kingdom. And if all of creation is the kingdom, then who's in the kingdom? Everybody. Everybody is in the kingdom. There's good, there's wonderful people in the kingdom, and then there are not so good people, there are wicked people. Everybody's in the kingdom. I did not say everybody was a citizen of the kingdom. Very important distinction. How many people are in the United States? All of the ones that are within the boundary of the United States. They're all here. Doesn't mean they're all here legally. And doesn't mean that everybody that is here is a citizen. Most of the people that are here are citizens. There are some people who are here who are not citizens. Correct?
Yes.
Some of the people who are here who are not citizens, some of them are good, some of them are not so good. But they're still here. That doesn't mean that they're not here. So the same thing is true with Malchut. Everybody's in the kingdom. That does not mean that everyone is going to receive, to enjoy Olam Haba, the world to come. Not everyone is a citizen. But everyone is in. Everyone is here. And one of the things that is important about that is something maybe we'll get to tonight, but is the act of potential. Saying what? Who can become a citizen of the kingdom? Anybody can become. Saying what? They have the potential. Every human being has the potential to become a citizen. Does this mean that every human being will become a citizen?
No.
No. But every human being has the potential. So this is the thing of between Malchut and Yesod is the potential. From potential How many of you remember we go from potential to what? Actuality. From potentiality to actuality. From potentiality to reality. We talked about this with Moshe, concerning Moshe. And the story of Yitro, Parsha Yitro, where his father-in-law comes to him and tells him what? Back off. Tells him what? That you're wearing out the people and it is not good either for the people or for you. How was he wearing out the people? Because he saw their what? Potential. He saw their potential, saying what? He wanted the people to be where he was. But was that the reality?
No, sir.
What is the reality? They're not only not there, they're far from being there. This is the reality. And what Yitro is telling Moshe is this: you're looking at what they potentially can, what they have the potential for being. You need to see them for what they are, where they are. Now, the thing is this: was Moshe doing wrong in seeing their potential? No. In fact, what? A good leader will do what? Will not only see potential, but will what? Will encourage potential. But the leader also has to do what? Also has to understand the reality of where the people are, where the person is. So those of you, if you would remember, the Het, the Tet, and the Yod. That what? The Tet, this is the husband and wife, right? The Het, this is the Chuppah. The Tet is what? The womb. And the womb speaks to potential. Potentiality. Of what? The potentiality of what? Bringing forth life. Every woman has the potential of bringing forth life. Now the question that came up last week: well, what about those who have problems, who are not able to produce? The potential is still there. The understanding, for example, Sarah. Sarah was in the same condition. And yet, what? She was unable to bring forth a child, and yet then what? Come on, then what? She brings forth the life. That's what we're saying. Even if what seems impossible to us, there's still the potential there. The mother of Samuel as well, remember? She also was unable to bring forth a child. And then what? And you have Rachel, who was unable to have any children until the very end. So what we're saying here is the potentiality, not the ability per se, but the potentiality. And this is where we get into what's the distinction? The potentiality versus what? What is the actuality? Where is this woman now, at this place now? Now the reason why we're going through all of this is because, look, Malchut is what form? What gender? Who dwells here? Shekhinah. The Shekhinah is of the what? The Shekhinah is the bride. The Ruach HaKodesh dwells where? Within the bride. And so this is why we're talking about this here. So Moshe had to realize, and we're going to see it again. I think we'll get to it this week, this Shabbat, but we're going to get to it again. Because when he goes up the mountain, remember we discussed last week that the people are where? They're hearing the voice of God. They're seeing the lightning. They're seeing the mountain tremble. The Hebrew says that not that it was trembling, but what did we say? That it was elevating. That it removed from the ground. That it literally picked itself up. And they're seeing all of this happening. What are they doing? What are the people doing? Trembling, yes, they're in great fear. And yet what's Moshe doing? He's running up the mountain. He's running up. He's running to embrace God. While the people, the rest of the people are all back. And remember we discussed this? We discussed this at Andrew's bar mitzvah as well. We discussed this as in that when Yeshua comes, he comes, who is Yeshua? Mashiach. He comes in all of his glory. Kevod. He comes with the cloud. And we think that we're going to, most people, that we're going to go running up and embrace him. He's going to come with this great, this great physical appearance, the sights, the sounds, even as how God appeared to Moshe and the children of Israel at Sinai. That he appears like that when he comes. So the reason why we're going through all of this is because, you see, once again, Moshe is going to run into this. He sees their potential. That when God descends onto Sinai, is he coming to hurt the people? Is he coming to judge the people?
No.
Huh? I can't hear you.
He's coming to judge us.
But when God descends on Mount Sinai, is he coming down on Mount Sinai to judge the people? To hurt them? What's he doing?
He's communicating with himself.
What's the whole thing? Marriage. Ketubah. Right here. Chuppah. And when Moshe sees this, when Moshe understands this, then he goes into this realm right here. What is this realm? Well, what is the realm? Potential. He sees their potential. Saying what? He wants them to be in their relationship where he is in his relationship. But what is the reality? The reality is, you'll pardon me, but the reality is Israel is a frigid bride. Huh? She withdraws. The people of Israel withdraw. Moshe is like, come on. This is great, this is awesome, this is wonderful. It's kind of like how, one person going on a great ride at Disney World or whatever, Disneyland, right? And you're like, man, this is awesome. And that other person is how? You never did me on that thing. Like the dropping towers and stuff, the ones that take you way up high, up into the air. And you're sitting there in your seat, trying to keep your shoes on. And then suddenly it lets go. Whew. I like that ride. I enjoy that ride. I think it's fun. But then there are people, what? My wife? You think she rides that ride? You won't ride that ride. She's like, no, you go ahead.
It's because she knows there's a life insurance policy.
The truth is, there isn't a life insurance policy. That's the thing. I was not rich, and I am not now rich. And even when I die, she won't be rich. So I tell you, she married me for my looks. I don't have any money. Anyway. So here you have the potentiality, and you have the actuality. How do I get from potential to actual? How do I make this a reality in my life? Because when I make this a reality in my life, I could go into this realm. So you need to go back and remember the alphabet. Okay? Cont is the chuppah. Tet is the womb. Yod is the seed.
So doing.
Huh? Doing. You have to go from potential to actual. You have to go from potential to actual. How do you do that? How do you get from potential? You see, we have the same potential as Moshe. We have the same potential as Eliyahu, as Elijah. We have the same potential to be that kind of a person as Rivka, as Sarah, as Rachel, as Leah. We have the same potential as Ruth. We have the same potential. All of us have the potential. The problem is this: we have this tendency of looking at these people as though they were special, that is, that they were created special. They were not. They were created as human beings, exactly the way you and I. Remember last week I said, what about procreation? Everybody comes from it, right? Everybody comes from procreation. Everybody was born. Everybody had a mother and a father. So did Moshe. In fact, you read his story in Exodus chapter 1. Did Elijah have a mother and father? Yes. Did David have a mother and father? Yes. Did Rachel have a mother and father? Yes. Leah? Ruth? All of these people, they were all born. As what? As aliens? Or as human beings? Come on. As aliens or as human beings? And as human beings, they were all created the same way that we are. Number one, B'Tsalmo Elohim, in the image of God. But also what? With the ability, they have choice, and did they do wrong? Did these people do wrong? Yes, every one of them. This is why the book of Yaakov, the book of James says what concerning them? I've given this to you before, says what concerning them? That the prophets were just like us. They had the same passions that we have. And yet God answered their prayer. Saying what? Moshe was a human being just like you and me. They had the same feelings, the same testings, the same trials, the same habits, the same failures. And yet God answers their prayers. God hears them and He answers them. What is the difference? The difference is that they move from potential to actuality. They moved from where it's possible for God to answer their prayer to what is the actual? God does answer their prayer. How did they do that? The secret to the power of procreation is circumcision. we are not talking in the physical sense, we're talking in the spiritual sense. What is the chet about? What is the chuppah about? The chet is the joining of the vav to the zayin. You guys remember that? The chet is the joining of the vav to the zayin. The vav and the zayin is a vav with wings. That is, with his talit. What is the chuppah? It's the talit spread over. That the man takes his talit and he spreads it over his wife. Saying what? He is taking her under his protection. So in the Jewish wedding, the woman walks around her husband 7 times, quoting 7 brachot, 7 blessings, and then the man invites her into the chuppah. What? Invites her to come under his talit. What is a talit? These are the wings. Under the wings. What are the wings? It's the place of protection. As what Yeshua said to Jerusalem. I would have taken you under my wings as a mother hen takes her chicks. And so in the marriage relationship, the husband spreads out his talit, his chuppah, to bring in the bride under his guard, under his protection. He becomes responsible for her life, for her well-being. From there, what? From this to this is the chuppah, chet, to tet, the potential for children, to yud, the seed. Notice that the yud is what? Small. And what? It's hovering. Suspended. Even as the seed, when it enters the womb of the woman, does what? Is what? Attached to the wall, is suspended within the womb. And this is what brings forth life. But it all occurs because of this, because of the covenant. So, why circumcision? Circumcision is the cutting away. In physical form, it is the cutting away of the foreskin, of the excess flesh. But remember that there are 2 forms of circumcision, that which is physical and that which is spiritual. The physical is the cutting away of the foreskin. The spiritual is the cutting away of the excesses of the heart. We usually think of the heart as being a good realm, a good area. Right? But do you remember what the prophet says? That the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately rasha. Remember the word rasha? Immoral.
So I guess it's also easy to say feelings, emotions, because a lot of us at one point in time have been led by emotion.
This is why in Leviticus, God commands the people. Is it Leviticus or Deuteronomy? I can't remember now. God commands the people, God tells the people, number one, he says that you may not build an altar anywhere you desire. There's only one altar. He also tells the people, before they enter the land, he tells the people, so I'm assuming it's in Deuteronomy, he tells the people this, he says, you may not do whatever is right in your own eyes. Why? Because the heart is deceitful. The heart is deceitful. We're living in an age today where everybody's just doing their own thing. This is from Christianity into Hebrew roots, Messianic, the whole shebang, even some Judaism. Everybody's just doing their own thing. The reason why we hold to the rabbis is because this goes back where? This is why we go to the rabbis to seek to understand. It does not mean we always agree. The rabbis don't always agree with themselves. But we go to them to gain understanding. Why? How old is it? Come on, how old is it? Some of it goes back to Ezra. We know. Saying what? You may not do whatever you please. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end leads to his destruction. You may not just follow after your heart, because oftentimes your heart will lead you astray. When we're saying the brachot before we open the Torah scroll, remember what he says. Beware lest you go after your heart when you see the gods of the people, and I will quickly bring a curse upon you. The heart does not always lead us in the right place. So Kenny Rogers is on his farewell tour. Right? And he and Dolly Parton had a hit, Islands in the Stream. Good song? Well, good too. But think about the words. Islands in the Stream, that is what we are. What are the rest of the words? I should have them in my head, but I don't. All right, here we go. Google is your friend. Islands in the stream, that is where we are. No one in between, how can we be wrong? Sail away with me to another world, and we rely on each other. From one lover to another. So, does anyone see anything slightly not kosher here? Listen to the words, islands in the stream, that is what we are, no one in between. So just because there's no one in between, saying what? They're not attached to each other, so we can just go ahead and make love. That's what the song is about. Let's be honest. Right? So saying what? It's perpetuating the idea that as long as you don't have a boyfriend or girlfriend or a husband or a wife, it's okay. Is that kosher? No. This is the idea of if it feels good and you're not hurting anybody else, it doesn't matter. You can do what you want. This is what I'm talking about when I say the heart is not always honest with us. Say. Apparently my computer did not like that song because it's trying to shut me down. Which we're going to do anyway. Okay. So, what is the foreskin? Excess skin. Excess flesh. Saying what? The foreskin is not necessary. It's in excess. It's not contributing. And so God required, starting with Abraham, God required that this excess be cut off. Now, is there anything wrong with having this excess flesh? Saying, is this excess flesh evil? No. In fact, what? All men are created with it. It is what it is. It's not evil. It's there. But is it necessary? No. So, by doing this, God is showing us what? He's making a picture. Everything in Judaism is about making a picture for us to understand. Saying what? What about circumcision? The cutting away is the taking away, the doing away with what is unnecessary. How do you spell unnecessary?
unnecessary.
I don't know. There we go. All right, like that.
C. Swap the
E.
S's.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
I'm teaching you Hebrew grammar. I can't spell in English.
Yes.
There we go.
There you go.
Thank you. Unnecessary. So doing away with what is unnecessary. Not with what is wrong. Not with what is evil. But what is unnecessary. Why? Because what is unnecessary slows you down. We have a tendency to fixate upon the unnecessary. Miss Wilma and I downsized a few years ago. We went from living in a big, literally a big 2-story house into living in a travel trailer camper. Guess what? There's not a lot of room in the travel trailer camper. There's no furniture. Only room for a few pots and pans, only room for a few dishes, only room for a few things here and there. This is why you see me wear, what? A lot of the same clothes over and over. Why? There's not a lot of room for clothes. So I have a week's worth of clothes this way and a week's worth of clothes that way. That is, I have my summer clothes and I have my winter clothes and some of the clothes for in between. But I don't have a lot of clothes. Now, don't feel sorry for me. Okay, go ahead. Feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. It's done on purpose. We downsized. Why? Do you know that downsizing actually makes your life less complicated? Do you know that she has a lot less area? She's retired now, so I can say this. She has a lot less area to clean. Because she downsized. We lived in a big 2-story house. Now we just live in a travel trailer. You know that our electric bill is much less. Do you know that our water bill is much less? Now, we have to put up with some things. I have an Australian Shepherd who insists that he's a human and he is not an outside dog. So he's there and there's not much room, so usually the walk through the trailer includes something like this to get over the dog. Somewhere. But I'm not paying any rent. I'm only paying a quarter of what we were paying electric. I'm only paying a quarter of what we were paying water. And I don't have near the possessions to worry about saying, well, if a hurricane comes through, I'm not going to lose much because I don't have much. I'm being serious. And this is the way we look at it. And we both chose to do this. We decided that this was good for us. We never tried to accumulate much to begin with. We had a rule that once a year we would go through our possessions, and if we hadn't used it for a year and we didn't see using it for a year, then it went out. What we're saying is what? You see, having that which is unnecessary, accumulating what is unnecessary in your life, slows you down. It gets in the way. We cling to things. God wants us to stop clinging to things, and He wants us to downsize or upgrade to clinging to Him. Because we live lives in the realm of what if. What if this happens, and what if that happens, and what if the other? North Korea is threatening to nuke us. Guess what? They've got the ability now. Our Air Force started flying sorties from Guam. Started flying jets off of Guam because of the threats that were made yesterday. This is serious stuff. So we can go and all buy bomb shelters and live underground and, stock up and do all of these kinds of things. I'm not saying not to have supplies, but I'm saying you don't have to go insane with it. You don't have to go crazy with it. Why? In the hands of God, the song says, we will fall. It's God who determines whether you live or whether you die. No one else. It's God who determines whether you're going to survive or not survive. No one else. Everything is by the will of God. Therefore, if you cut off the excess, if we cut off the excess, the superfluity of our lives, and rather cling to God, what? It makes life smoother for us. It gives us the power to procreate. The ability. Why? Because then we're not like the world. Why? What does the world do? It clutches to its possessions. It is the world that clutches to the physical world, the physical life, the physical realm. But we are supposed to be in touch with the spiritual. So, as a teacher, let me be honest with you. Yesterday, you see this little booger right here? I dropped it. It was in my pocket. We were working, and I dropped it. Not once, twice. It fell out of my pocket. And intelligent being that I am, I stuck it back in my pocket. I always keep it here, always keep it in my back pocket, but I had stuck it here. And we were doing some work and it fell out of my pocket and onto the sidewalk. Now it's got the protector around it. The screen's been broken for 1.5 years already. I didn't think anything about it. I picked it up and I stuck it in my pocket. I started working around on the ground again, and it fell out of my pocket again onto the sidewalk. So, a few minutes later, I went to check my messages. How many of you check your messages? I went to check my messages, and a little white box came up here, and it said, SIM card missing, cannot connect to your provider. And I said, what? SIM card missing, cannot connect to your provider. So I've got a little slot right here, so I borrowed a pin and I opened up the slot and there was nothing there. And I'm like, I'm starting like, how am I going to keep in touch? How am I going to this? And how am I going to this? And how am I going to this? And how am I going to this? I kind of went into a little panic mode. Anybody been there? Why? Because I'm used to doing this, and used to doing this, and used to doing this, and I'm checking the weather, looking at Facebook, let's see who's saying what, who's doing what. I'm looking at the news, I'm checking the weather again, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. And it was all gone. So, Josh and Richard were researching it for me, and Josh said, well, after work, let's go get another phone. I said, yes, I knew there was an upside to this. The problem is I'm going to have to go for the next 8 hours without contact. And it didn't feel good. Why didn't it feel good? Because my flesh is used to this, to the connection. 10 years ago, I didn't have one of these, and I was happy. I was satisfied. In fact, I protested when they bought me one. I didn't want one. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, by the way, I stuck it in my pocket a couple minutes, I took it out, and everything was back. It's a miracle. God works in mysterious ways. So I've got my phone back. I didn't get a new phone. But, what am I saying? This is excess, in effect. It can be. Now, look, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Is having an Android or having an iPhone, is this sin? Is this wickedness? No. But if you become so attached to it, it can be this. You see, cutting away the foreskin is not cutting away of sin and wickedness. It's cutting away of what is unnecessary. You are born with it. Those of you who are males. It is a part of you. You're created this way. You're designed this way. So it's not speaking of cutting away wickedness or cutting away sin. It is cutting away those things which I do not need in my life, which actually, in fact, become a hindrance in my relationship to God. Why? Because you see, I'm living in this realm. I want to go into this realm. I'm living in the potential. I want to go into actual. But I cannot go into actual when there are so many things of this life and this world that are holding me back. The spiritual realm will never be real to me so long as the physical realm is more real. As long as I permit the physical realm to be the controlling factor of my life, then the spiritual realm, the spiritual world, will never be real to me. So, we close with this. Ready? Watch. You see this right here? What is this? This is, what did we say? This is what?
You.
But this is what? The womb, which is what? And this is? Are you ready? Yesod begins with what? This is the realm where you are making the change from what you have the potential to what you can be, to the actual. You are bringing from potential, you're going from potential to action. In other words, what? There's a change taking place in your life here. There comes a stripping away, a cutting away. Why do we cut away, and why do I need to cut away? I need to cut away because when a husband brings a wife into his home, into his life, does he not need to change? No more bachelor pad, right? He needs to change. Why does he need to change? He's taking that responsibility to himself. He's taking on added responsibility. In order to take on added here, he must subtract over here. In other words, it can no longer be all about himself. It must now be about this other person, and in fact, this other person, if he is to guard her and protect her with his life, this other person must take priority. Is this not what Ephesians chapter 5 teaches between the husband and the wife? She must become the priority. Saying what? He must cut off the excess in his life in order to take her in. He cannot just go spending on himself now all over. He can't just go out to a restaurant and eat every night. He can't just go buy some fancy car because he's living all by himself. He doesn't have any worries, doesn't have any cares, and he's got the money to spend. Because now he has another mouth to feed, and what the potential is that there will be more mouths to feed, and he has to be careful and prepare for those things. Therefore, in order to procreate properly, that is, in order to bring about life properly, what? He must cut back on himself so that he can expand, so that he can give out more over here. This is the idea of circumcision. I must learn to refrain myself for the good of the other, because the other takes the priority. And if you know, you remember, Yesod leads us to where? Yesod leads us to where? Netzach, and Netzach is all about what? The other person. How do I get the victory over myself? I get the victory over myself by making others the priority. It's not about me. You are not here for you, for your sake. You are here for the sake of God and for the sake of others. It's not about you. It's about Him, and it's about serving others. That's why we're here. This is why this is necessary. Because if I don't do this, then it's always going to be about me. And if it's about me, then I cannot be a true servant. This is why I must also cut on my heart. Because as long as my spiritual life is wherever it goes, however I'm led, and it's not under control, then it's always going to be about me. And worship, for the most part today, is about who? It's about me. What do I get out of it? What do I feel? This and that. This is why we're told that we have to be circumcised in our heart. Why? Because we must have a realm of self. There must be a modicum. There must be some self-control going on, both in our physical world, in our spiritual world, in order for us to make any contact at all. And if I am ever going to be a true servant of God, then I need to make it not about me. But as long as I don't do this, as long as I have excess in my physical world, as long as I have excess in my spiritual world, then it's about me. And I will never be a true servant. This is what circumcision is about. It is to demonstrate to us that we need to remove the excesses from our life. We need to airstrip our lives into the spiritual realm. And the more that we are willing to cut away. So who was the first person to be circumcised? Abraham. What does Hebrews chapter 11 tell us about Abraham? That he owned no property. That he did not have a house. That he and Yitzhak and Yaakov, that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob lived in tents as shepherds because they were seeking for a city whose maker, whose foundation, whose yesod is God. Saying what? They refused to attach themselves to the physical realm. What we were talking about in the bar mitzvah last week. Of what? That they were not willing to put down their roots. Because this world was not their home. They were looking for the world to come. The problem with us is too many of us have put down our roots here. And we're satisfied here, we're content here. So we're not willing to do this. And guess what? Because I'm not willing to do this, I never get out of this. It's always potential, but it never becomes actual. So how many of us would say, I wish I could be this, I wish I could be that, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. But it's never going to happen in your life. You've been wishing for years that you could do this and do that. You've been wishing for years you could be more spiritual, that you could walk closer to God, that you could have this kind of life, that kind of life. But it's never going to happen. So long as you don't take care of this. And when you go to this, Yesod, the Yud, goes from singularity to plurality. And so we're going to talk about that next week. So with that we say, Brachot, Shalom, B'Lev.